Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. We are continuing on our tow truck build. So I just kind of did some tweaking. I'll just go through what I did. Not too much. Here in the A chassis, I changed its all-wheel drive, and I gave it a little bit more horsepower. It only had like 180 horsepower, so now it's got 800 horsepower. That might not even be enough. I might need to crank that up. So the other thing I wanted to mention is we have our final drive values. Okay, if you want this thing to go like 1,000 miles an hour, you just turn this to 0. And what that'll do is that'll make the top speed like 300 miles or whatever. So by turning it to 1, what it does is it actually limits our top speed to about 88 miles, which is still actually quite fast for a big rig. Yeah, so if you're wondering, if you don't want these things to be race cars and you kind of want them to slow down, that's how you do that. So it kind of still kind of works. It's just kind of for now, obviously. So the lower arm comes down. And so I'll just kind of go over what it's trying to do here. Right, we want to come in nice and square. There we go, now we're connected. So what it's trying to do, if I lift the arm up, it's going to try and lift the entire object with the arm, right? So that's why we had to make it kind of articulate like that. So that way it could bend in the middle. Otherwise, like I say, if we just try and lift the crane up, and as you can see, it's trying to lift the entire... so what I do is we have the lower arm down. What I did is I just extended the angle on there. I think it goes to 120. And this is going to allow us to pull the vehicle. There we go. It's not perfect. And I mean, okay, you have to take a... I know if kids are gonna get a bad experience, they're just gonna downvote the game because they're not gonna want to try and understand. But as a developer, I just want you to understand that we have no control over the Roblox physics engine. Okay, so what I mean by that is that if this truck decides it's just suddenly gonna fly away, it's just gonna fly away, and that has nothing to do with us. That's just Roblox, and that's just the way their graphics engine works, and all that sort of stuff, right? Because I don't think, you got to remember, it's a development program, and it was never, some of the stuff that we're doing is not really, it's not like, well, we designed the development program for this specific purpose, right? It's suited to fit a broad range of ideas, so it might not fit this specific purpose. But anyways, yeah, so that's that. So it fits, it works, and then I have a delete weld on there, so we can bring the crane down. All right, maybe not. We can bring the arm down. Oh, we need to do that and that. It's kind of a slow process here. There we go. And then we can delete weld. Crane down. There we go. And we lift the crane up. Lower arm up. There we go. And away we go. And we're ready. Now, as you can see, we're limited to our top speed. Yeah, do you see it sped up and then it slowed down? Okay, now that has to do with the final drive values here. These final drive values, which need to be tweaked. You see, these values are larger than those values. So we need to change this. If we want 1.64 to be our final drive value, then we can make this like 2.5 maybe. We just need to refactor it. That's all. This could be 2, and this could be 2, and that will probably work a little bit better. As you can see, I've got the final drive values set to 4. What that does is that just gives more torque. Less speed, but more torque. So now, yeah, there you see our top speed is 80. It doesn't accelerate faster than that. We got 6 gears. We could add 18 gears to this thing if we wanted to make it really, more realistic. The other thing that you can tweak also in the A chassis is the braking strength, the braking force here. If you find that the braking is non-existent, like it is in this case when we're polling, then this is where you can just change your brake force. If you set it too strong, you will start to run into big issues, like I say. So the next thing I wanted to do with the build, so we're going to get rid of this constraint. We're not using this prismatic anymore. We're not going to make this stretch, which means we can get rid of that. Oops. Oh, there's two of them there. That's why. This is Can Collide Falls, right? All this is Can Collide Falls, so it can slip underneath the vehicle. So that's pretty good. So the next thing I wanted to do is make like a hook part on here. Let's see, and then I want to, yeah, let's do two things here. Grab the interface. We could put one more, I suppose we could put one more button on here, but the thing is the chat bar is going to be here, and that might get in the way of these controls. I don't know. It's kind of hard sometimes because you can't change the Roblox interface. You can only change our interface. So this is kind of with the crane, but I might take this, extend and retract. Let's see. Let's put that in a separate frame. Let's do this. So this is the crane. Let's insert a object, and let's insert another frame over here. Yeah, we can do this for now. And we're going to name this one Winches, just like that. And let's see, how do we want to do this? I want to take extend crane and retract crane, and I want to put those into winches. So then what we need to do is we need to say local winch equals script dot parent dot winches, and then we need to say winch, which is where the button is now. Just like that. All right. Perfect. So now we have our winches. All right. That's, oh, and then what we want to do is we want to insert, here, let's just copy this. Paste into, where are we here? You see, and then what that does is it just makes that whatever. And then of course we're going to make these buttons smaller, right? This is just for right now while we're still developing. We're leaving them big, but we will eventually make these buttons smaller and make this interface a little more streamlined. So now, in order to open up this interface, we need two more buttons. So we need one button, and then I guess we could duplicate this. Okay, so this button here is going to be winch screen. And this button here is going to be close. That's it. And then, so, I don't like the way that's kind of, whatever. Close. UI. Okay, and then we'll just make that red for now. Where are we? Background color. Because we're going to change all this in the end. Okay, so close UI. So what's that's going to do? So basically what we're going to do is we're going to insert a local script. We won't run this through that. And then what it's going to do is we'll say, we'll tell it to wait. Just a split second. And then we want to say local button equals, we'll say script.parent. And so we'll say button dot mouse button one down, right? And then we'll say connect function. And then what do we want it to do? Well, we want it to say script dot parent dot visible equals false. All right. Now we can have another button on here. So when that goes false, we could have another button somewhere on the screen, which makes this visible again. So like we could take this and we could duplicate that, and then we could drag that out of the interface So you see how it's kind of, it's floating all on its own. And instead of close, we can say open, we can say show. Just like that. Show master interface. And then in the little script, it'll say, we can say script dot parent dot crane. Oh no, I gotta go dot parent dot crane dot visible equals true. It's that simple. So then when this becomes false, and then what we'll say is script dot parent dot close dot visible equals true. And then we'll say script dot parent dot visible equals false. There we go. All right, and so that way this button here, this show master interface, it's going to be visible false. You can even make it interactable false if you want to. If you're concerned maybe somebody might click on it. I don't think they will when you can't see it. I don't think you can interact with it anyways. Or you can't select it. It's not a selectable object. So that's that. And then this button here is going to be our winch screen. And we can make this one red as well. And so, or we could even, yeah. So when we use this one here, we may as well insert an object. We'll insert a local script for this one also. Why not? We can say wait, point one, and then we can say local button equals script parent. We can say button dot mouse button one down, connect function, and we'll say script dot parent dot winch screen dot parent. Oh, we probably need to go 3 dot winches dot visible equals true. Just real simple, just like that. Real simple. Now we're just kind of adding. So when we click on that button, it'll make this visible. And you know what? We could do a function. We could say local click equals true. No, false. Sorry, false. And then we can say if false, then click equals true. If click equals true, then and then we'll say end, and then we'll say else. Click equals false, and so on and so forth. We'll say script parent dot winches dot visible equals false. Now when you click on it, it makes this screen show up, and then when you click on it again, it makes the screen disappear. Easy peasy, really simple. So we have extend crane, we have retract crane. We also need, we're going to duplicate this button. We're going to have 2 winches on here. So this is going to be winch A. Okay, and then we're going to duplicate that. And this is going to be winch B. All right. And then we need to duplicate that. We need to lock winches. Lock winches. So this one here is going to be lock. Winch lock. And then this one's going to be winch A. And this one here could be winch B. All right. So now we need to add the winches. No. Yeah, we need to add the winches, and then we need to code the interface. So what we can do is, this is part of the winches. So let's just do this. Let's do this. This is the crane, like this. And then this could be the winches. right? And then this way, what we're doing now is we're just kind of separating the functions so we don't get lost in our programming here. All right. So now we need to say winch dot winch a dot mouse button one down, right? Connect function, and then we're going to say truck fire server, and we'll just say winch a out. All right, copy that, and then up, and then winch out stop. And we can just copy that, do that, and change that to winch B. Winch B. Really simple. Really simple. Okay, so now we need to make the winches. So what we need is a part. Well, we need a couple of parts. What I should do, let's go to the toolbox and let's look for a hook. I don't know, like a grappling hook or something, just a hook. Actually, I'm gonna let's figure this out after. Okay, so let's we need to rename this to handle. Okay, and then we need to insert a tool into the here. We need to insert object, a tool. Okay, and then we need to take our handle. Where is it here? We need to put it inside the tool. This is going to allow us to pick it up, right? And then on the vehicle, okay. So basically, we have this part here. When we touch it, it creates a weld, right? Which is what we have here with our weld script that we created. So we're going to copy that weld script and we're going to paste it into the handle. All right. Now what we want to do is, in here it says tow part, but this is going to be, let's see, winch part, whatever. And then this is going to be A, and then, or we could just say winch part, for example, okay? So then what we need to do on the vehicle is we need to rename this winch part. All right, and then we need to figure out where we're going to put it on the vehicle. So for this test, we're going to put this here on the front bumper. And now, like I say, we can change this to be like a clasp or something like that. For now, it's just going to be an ugly part. But eventually what I'll do, is we'll just put this into something else. Okay, and then what we can do is we need to weld that to there. And then we need to take this winch part and we need to put it inside the Mack truck. It needs to go inside this truck. So when the truck spawns, it scales that. Now we need two of them, right? So we'll have two on the front. And then, like I said, this is where you can get creative. And let's say the truck flips over and we have auto flip off, which is what we're going to do in this game because we have the tow trucks. You might need a couple on top that you can hook to that will allow you to pull the vehicle over or right the vehicle. All right, so that's step number 1. Step number 2 is we need to create a rope from here to here, just like that. And then this is going to be this part here. We're going to rename this to winch A. Okay, just like that. And then the rope constraint, we're going to click on it and we just say winch enabled equals true. That's all we need to do. Winch force, we can even set it up right now. Infinite. And then this, we'll change the speed and the target with the code. And then the other thing that we need to do is we need to create, we need a weld to go from here. Do we want to weld it to there or do we want to weld it to the body? Let's weld it to the body. And then we're going to call this lock. And we're going to take this tool and we're going to place it inside winch A. Perfect. Now we're going to take our interface. We're going to put it back inside the vehicle. Ooh, mini empires, nice. I'll have to ignore that because I'm unfortunately filming right now. There, so you see what has happened there? Perfect. So we need to make this winch. We need to make this lock like that. Maybe that'll work. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. So you see, what I didn't do was change the length of it. Because in here, oh, I've got winch enabled. That's why. If you don't say winch enabled, it just stays where it is. When you say winch enabled, there we go. Okay, so we picked that up. And that's our winch part, right? Then we're going to weld it to the truck. And then, now that's going to be the hard part is going to be, as you can see there, all that ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense sometimes, Roblox. Okay, we can change the length of this to like this. Let's make it like 50. Let's see if that'll help at all. Sometimes that helps. Having this anchored also helps. So we're going to add all that, right? That's where the testing comes in. We're going to add all that. So there we go. It won't let me drop the tool for some reason, even though it is droppable. Yeah. That's the Roblox physics system at work, right? Can be dropped. Can be dropped. You see? But for some reason when you drop it, it doesn't like wait before it lets you pick it up again. When you drop it, if you're close to it, it will instantly grab it again. So perhaps what we'll do is this can be the handle, and then we'll need another part in front of it, which is going to be the actual hook, you know? And then maybe that'll prevent a lot of the issues that we're suddenly having. So that could be like that. To there like that. And then weld script. We'll put the weld script inside here. We'll put the part inside here. Maybe that'll work. Let's just see if that's going to work a little bit better. What the heck is going on? I don't understand. Why is it doing that? There it is. So as you can see, it's just sometimes that's just Roblox, right? Okay, so I picked it up backwards. Let's take this tool and rotate it. And we'll may as well make this massless. And then it'll be easier for us to hold on to without falling over. Okay. I really was hoping I'd be able to test this without having to add more code to it. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't know why it's doing what it's doing. All right, what is going on with this thing? This is the handle. It keeps rotating. Doesn't matter which way I rotate the handle. It just wants to pick it up backwards. Oh, I see. I just moved that in front of that. All right, let's just do that. Let's just do that. Let's do that. There we go. Could be something like that. Sure. We'll handle the rest of the vehicle. There needs to be some outriggers and that kind of stuff as well. Oh my God! What the heck is going on, Roblox? Why can't we? It's gonna make me anchor the vehicle in order for this to work. I'm gonna have to anchor the vehicle. So as you can see, these are the Roblox physics at work. The Roblox physics engine is superb. It works. It you know what I mean? It's fantastic. It really isn't. It's actually really horrible to try and work with it sometimes. Can we pick it up? No. It's just going to do that over and over and over and over again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, what we have to do is we have to anchor the actual vehicle so that way it doesn't fly away. It shouldn't fly away now. Yeah, see how stupid that was? So then we connect to there, and then we can just let go of the tool, right? Oh. So now this is why when they were designing the tow truck, they made it so that way you click on a button and then you click on the vehicle and it creates the attachment instead of doing it this way. We could try that. The only problem would be the length of the rope. You see, it's just so frustrating sometimes trying to do this kind of stuff because it just Roblox just really sucks sometimes for this kind of stuff. Because this is exactly what the player is going to experience when they're in your game. And I mean, if it was me and this happened, see the truck is anchored, and now we're doing this. If this happened to me while I was playing the game, I'd downvote it. You know. I would say your game sucks. I think, see, because I unanchored the truck. And now, I don't know why you see what it's doing? I don't know why it's doing that. It's just absolute garbage. Okay, so now that I've complained and tried to get it to work, we need to figure out a different way. We need to try and design this a different way. Yeah, look, I'm still anchored. The truck is still anchored, and yet I am still having these problems. So, it's frustratingly stupid. So now what do? How do we solve this problem? Okay, so what we can do is we can get rid of this, and inside, So, what we need to do, unfortunately, there's probably like another hour. I guess that sucks. There's probably another hour worth of work. So, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to design things the way they are. In your actual game, you're going to want to design things a little differently. Remember, the player is going to spawn the vehicle into the game, and you're going to want to name that vehicle something. I name the vehicle the player's name vehicle, and that way I can control what the player spawns in the game and how to track it by using the player's name vehicle. Then I can say game.workspace, find first child, wait for child, player name.vehicle. In this case, we're not going to do that. The vehicles are already in the workspace, so we're going to name this one garbage truck, and this one is going to be named tow truck. Now, normally this, right? And so we're going to say, well, why does this matter? So what we need to do is in the winch part, We need to insert a attachment. Okay. We need to insert a click detector. And we need to insert a script here. Now, you can have it so that way, if you're using Teams, I think you can make it so that way only the tow truck driver, for example, can interact with this. For me, when I build all my vehicles, I give them an interface. So I would have a button on the interface, which would say like enable towing. And then what that would do is that would enable these parts, right? Enable towing, disable towing. It's really that simple. So what we're going to have to do, so in the click detector, and then we have this part here. We have to find this part. So we're going to say, we're going to tell it to wait. All right. And then we're going to say, let's see. We need a couple of variables. So the winch is going to be game dot workspace. And then we're going to say wait for child. And this is going to be tow truck. Now, it would be named something else in your game. And then we're going to say local. We could say rope, I guess, equals. Oh, we want to take. Let's see. Not the toe part. This part here. We need this. So let's just say button. Script dot parent dot click detector. All right, then we'll say button dot mouse click connect function. All right, and we'll say local winch equals we need to say right here. Instance.new. Instead of a weld constraint, we're going to add a rope. A rope constraint. Now, when we're making a rope constraint, we need attachment 0 and attachment 1. So we need to say winch dot attachment 0 equals, and then we'll say script dot parent dot attachment, and then we'll say winch dot attachment 1 equals, and then we'll say winch truck. All right, winch truck. Now wait for child tow truck. Now in the tow truck, we need to say dot miscellaneous, and then we need to say dot tow bed, and we need to say dot crane dot winch a dot attachment 0 dot crane dot winch a dot attachment 0. So simple as that. So we have, so it's going to create a rope. It should create a rope when we click on it. Oh, and then we need to define the length. This is really important, right? So we need to say winch dot length, and I would just make it like 200, probably even longer than that. And so now if we click here, we should be able to create a rope. No, it's not creating the rope. Now, why is that? And then we want to say, maybe it does. Let's say winch dot visible equals true, and then we'll say winch dot thickness equals 0.2. Let's see if that's going to work, because it might actually be creating it, but it might just be invisible. There we go. So now we've created that rope. Oh, perfect. So then if we get inside the truck, that's a lot better. You see that? So it's just problem solving, right? How do we problem solve? And then we say winch A, and then what that does is that's going to make this So now what we need to do is we need to find where did it create the rope constraint? Did it create it in the garbage truck? Or, oh, that's the garbage truck, miscellaneous. It created the rope in there. Actually, that's really cool that we're able to do that. So then, okay. Sorry, I'm just kind of thinking how I want to finish this. So then we'll say, we need to say local click equals false, right? We need to say if, then click equals true. Click is equal to true then, and we're going to say end here, else, and then what do we want to do? We want to say click equals false, right? Click equals false. Oh, and then what we need to do is we can actually say script.parent, and we could say find first child, and that's going to be our rope constraint, which I think is what it's going to be called. We'll say local rope equals, and then we just need to say if rope then rope destroy. All right, let's try that. And now we're able to connect to the truck. Yeah, cool, look at that. Over and over again. Oh, that's awesome. I really like that. Now, the problem is the rope is in the truck. It's not in the tow truck. The rope is actually in here. So we need to reverse that now. We need to reverse it. We need to create the rope inside there. So we could say, yeah, in the winch part. Winch equals instance.new rope. And then see, we're making it in the script.parent, but it should actually be in, it should be here. So as I was saying, my other game, Distribution Champions, is going to be ready for code soon. I will go over the spawning, the player being able to spawn the vehicle in or any objects in, and how to track those objects in the workspace, all that sort of stuff, deleting them, whatever. Because you can delete objects when the player respawns, and you can delete objects when the player leaves the game. So you, for example, if the player purchases a house, you don't want them to lose their house every time they respawn. But you may want their vehicle to delete, and you may want other objects to delete. So you need to have a couple of different scripts that are going to handle those types of things. Okay. So now let's see if the winch is in there. So now we create it, and we're going to look at the tow truck here. So once you bring the tow truck into your game, that's what I mean. You're going to need to change the code just a little bit. We'll go over that. Crane, and then winch A. Oh, there it is. There's the rope. Perfect. Excellent. Now what we need to do is get rid of that. And then in the script, it says script.parent, but we actually need to change that to here. This here. And then we need to say find first child. Or, hold on a second here. Yeah, find first child. Find first child, rope constraint. All right, let's test that out, see if that's going to work. does. Look at that. It creates it and it deletes it. It creates it and it deletes it. So now that we have those things established, let's go back to our interface. And what we need to do is we need to test the winch now. We need to test the winch. So we've got winch A out and winch A out stop, but we don't have winch A in. So that's what we need to do here. We need to take this back to starter UI. You see we have winch A and winch B. And then the winch lock, which we don't need that button anymore. Did I have winch lock? No, not yet. Okay, perfect. So now winch A, here, can we duplicate that? But it's going to be down there. That sucks. All right, let's get a winch. Let's just do this now. Winch A out. Okay, and then we need to duplicate this. So we'll just say winch out. And then we need to duplicate that in. And this is say winch A in. We'll just change this over a little bit. Winch A out. And then winch A in. Winch A in, and then this will be winch A out, winch A out, and then winch A in, and then winch A in stop. So we have out, out stop, in, and in stop. We'll just focus on that for now. Obviously, we'll be expanding it as we add the second winch and the third winch and the fourth winch. But for now, we're just going to hold it there. Okay, so now we need to go into our master script and we need to add these variables. Right here. If is equal to winch A out, then I want to say script dot parent dot towbed dot crane, nope, dot crane dot winch A, and then we're going to say find first child, and that's going to be rope constraint. Find first child, rope constraint. And then we want to say dot winch enabled. Okay, so what we need to, I'm just going to add a winch constraint into here, where somewhere that's not so insert object rope, just so we can look at the properties, right? Dot winch enabled. Dot winch equals true. All right, and then we're going to wait a split second, and then we're going to say actually let's say rope equals there we go. Okay, we'll turn this into a local. Like that, and then we'll say yeah, ropes dot winch enabled dot winch equals true. And we didn't set that up in the code, did we? No, we didn't. Perfect. And then we just need to change the length. All right, and then we need to say ropes dot length equals ropes dot length +1. All right, let's try that. Let's try that. It's so confusing, right? Because you're building it and then you're thinking. All right, so there it is. There's the rope constraint. We need to have that first. Otherwise, we click on the button. It'll just give us an error. And then we'll say winch out. Let's see here. Workspace, tow truck, miscellaneous, tow bed, crane, part, winch A, there we go. Why is it, see that? Oh yeah, every time we click on it. But why is it doing that? I wonder if it's because I set its length to 200. Oh, you know why? Because as soon as we tell it to winch enabled, it's gonna go to its default length. I think that's why. Let's try that again. Let's see. Let's just take a look at this for a minute and just see what's going on. So we have our tow truck, and then we have miscellaneous, tow bed, crane, part. No, our winch A. Okay, so now we are gonna create the rope. Let's take a look at it. Its length is 200. Oh, okay. So then if we get in the vehicle, and we say winch out, yeah, as soon as it says winch enabled, I wonder if it's going to try and go to its current distance. And we have to change the winch force too, so that way it'll pick this up. I have to just find that, or it's going to go to its restitution. No. I don't know what it's doing. Let's see. Let's wait and see what it's doing. What are we at here on the runtime on this one? No, like that. Another hour. That's what I say. Sometimes people don't believe me, but we're what, 3 hours into this build, and there's probably still 2 or 3 or 4 more hours to go before we're really ready of testing and playing around. All right, let's see what's going to happen. I hope it doesn't fly away. Oh yeah, look at it. It's just. Oh, look at that. Look at that. See? It'll pick up, it picks it up. Oh, that's exactly what I wanted it to do. That's almost better than this arm. You know that? That is better than the arm. Then if we get in it. Here. Let's see if we can drive. How is that better? Oh man. It's not. No, I can't move with it, but oh, because it's not turned on, right? It's not turned on, that's why. If I turn on the garbage truck, that's neat. So there you go. That's neat. Okay, that is cool. That is super duper cool. So now I don't know why it's doing that. So now we need to figure out why the rope constraint. As soon as we tell it to go winch enabled, that's in here, right? Winch enabled equals true. Ropes.length equals ropes.length. +1 maybe. Maybe that has to do with it. I'm not too sure. That's going to do it for this video, though. We created the rope constraint. I just have to go. That's I ran out of time, sadly. In the next video, we will finish. We'll do some more playing around with the ropes, and hopefully we can get this thing working out the way we want to. That's a lot better than using the weld. And I think the issue with the weld is because it hits the parts, and the parts are collidable. There's just a lot more going on, as you saw, and it became very frustrating, and we weren't too sure what to do. So again, I'm hoping that while you're watching these videos, you're also seeing sort of the problem solving that kind of needs to go on while you're working with this. Like, hey, it's not ideal. What's going on? And sometimes you can't even you can't focus on the problem. Like for me, I've had issues that have taken me several days of just thinking how I want it to work, how I want it to code it and whatever, before it's able to just come to me and I'm like, yeah, this is what I want and this is how I need to program it. So you know, if you're like me and you get frustrated easily, try not to get frustrated easily. There's always a solution, maybe. There's always a workaround, maybe. It's just a matter of doing some critical thinking and testing. So thank you so much for watching, liking and subscribing. You guys are awesome. And I will see you in part 5. Cheers.